Well, hey everybody, welcome back to another Real Short Talk with Ryan. I hope you are ready to dive into God's Word with me today. Today we're going to be looking at Psalm 46, considering the question, when can I rest? I don't know if you've noticed, but life is, quite frankly, exhausting at times. It just seems like one thing happens after another, right? We deal with stress at work, we deal with things at home, we deal with the pressure of expectations. We deal with ongoing sin that we just can't seem to get over, but we're fighting the battle, and we just feel like we're always fighting. Just things seem exhausting. And sometimes we ask ourselves that question, when can I rest? Well, I want to answer that for you from Psalm 46. And the answer is this: we can rest when we recognize God's power and we remember what He has done. Psalm 46 verse 1 says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though the waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. Hey, we can rest in God. Even though we have all of these things going on, we can have comfort and satisfaction and solace in God. He says, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters His voice, the earth melts. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. When we recognize who God is, everything that we're going with pales in comparison, right? When we focus our attention on God and the greatness of Him, rather than focusing on our problems, it doesn't mean that our problems go away, but it means they become less significant in our lives. We don't allow them to have the loudest voice. We allow God and who He is and what He has done to have the loudest voice in our hearts, and that gives us rest. That gives us confidence, right? Just like going to our father when we were a child and you skin your knee, right? You go to your father and He picks you up and He holds you and He tells you that everything's going to be okay, and you believe Him. Why? Because He becomes bigger and a louder voice in your situation than the hurt knee that you were experiencing. And when we recognize that God is bigger than everything else, how can we not come to Him and rest, knowing that He is our refuge and our strength? Verse 8, He says, come behold the works of the Lord, how He has brought desolations on the earth. He makes war cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots by fire. He is greater than all of these things. In verse 10, this is the resting part really comes in. He says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. God's plan is marching forward. No matter what you think you're going through, He is greater than it. No matter what you are going through, He is greater than it. And He desires to be there for you. He desires to comfort you. He desires to help you achieve victory over that stronghold of sin in your life. He desires to give you rest in the midst of your stress. Look, I get it. Life is stressful. We've got a lot going on, but we have to look to Him before we look anywhere else. We have to allow Him to capture our imagination and our affections and our thoughts and allow everything else to fade. That is when we can rest. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Until then, go and glorify His name.